Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be making a nurse's dress uniform, and here's how we're going to do it. So we're going to start with the front piece. So measure 8 inches for the front yoke. Your front yoke is going to be 7 inches, but then the 1 inch will be for the sewing allowance of 0.5 at the bottom and 0.5 at the top for connecting to the shoulder. So cut out 8 inches from your fabric. I'll be putting in the sewing allowances directly on this paper so you can safely do this directly on fabric. So this is going to be 7 inches, but we're going to cut it at 8 inches. The next thing we're going to do is come down by 0.5 inch. So this 0.5 inch will be for the bottom part of the dress connecting to the yoke. So I'm adding 0.5 inch allowance for it to join the yoke so that there is no shortage of fabric. So we can go ahead and cut out the 8 inches for the yoke. We'll come back to the yoke. First, let's work with the bottom part of the dress. So as you can see, there's this allowance of 0.5 inch. So to start with, I'll start with putting in my zipper allowance, which will be 1 inch. This is the front piece and it's going to have a front zipper. So I'm marking 1 inch here and just join that. Okay, so we have our zipper allowance marked this side. Okay, so I've labeled it zipper allowance. So to start with my vertical measurements, put your 7 inches on this 0.5 mark that we had put, as you can see me doing. You can see where I've put my 7 inch. Then from there, mark your shoulder to bust. Mine was 10 inches. Then shoulder to waist, which was 16 inches for me. Then my shoulder to hip, which was 24 inches. Then you also go ahead and mark your full length. We're going to use 40 inches plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. So I'll mark at 42 inches. Then we'll go ahead and draw the horizontal lines for all these points that we marked. So I've gone ahead to mark my hemming line, my hip line, my waistline, and my bust line. So from here, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put our nipple to nipple measurement. Mine was 4 plus 0.5 inch allowance. So 4.5, 4.5, and even here at the bottom 4.5. Okay, so we're going to slit open this seam. That's why it's going all the way from the top to the bottom, because we're going to cut it open. Okay, then put in your horizontal measurement. My bust was 40 inches divided by 4, which is 10 plus 2 inches sewing allowance. Then 1 inch for joining of the dart. Then my waist was 34 divided by 4, which is 8.5 plus 2 inches sewing allowance plus 1 inch for the dart. Then I'm adding 0.5 here. You will see the use of the 0.5 when we start sewing. Then my hip was 42 divided by 4, which is 10.5 plus 2 inches sewing allowance plus 1 inch for joining the dart. Then the hem will put the hip measurement. Okay, then we'll continue to just join your sides together like this, like I am doing, and we have our front piece. So we can go ahead and cut this out. There. So for the front yoke, you see where I'm placing the front yoke? I'm placing it just where the zipper allowance stops and not on the zipper allowance, because this will be folded in. So the yoke will start from here and it will end where the fabric ends. So you can cut this out like this. Then I also placed the yoke about 0.5 inch on the line that we had left as the allowance. Then I'm going to put in my neck measurement. My neck width is 3.5. Then I'm going to use a neck depth of 4 inches since this is going to have a notched collar and a bit of a small lapel. So join this. Then my shoulder measurement was measuring 16 inches divided by 2, which is 8, plus 0.5 that I've added there. Then I'll go down by 1 inch and just slant my shoulder like that. Then from here I'll come down by 8.5 inch, the same one that I had put on the shoulder line for my armhole. Then on this line we come up with the chest line by extending this line this side horizontally to come up with our chest line. Then I'll put in my bust measurement, which was 40 inches divided by 4, which is 10. So I've put in 10 there. Then get the midpoint of your armhole. Then go in by 0.5 inch and then you're going to curve your armhole up to where the 10 inches mark is on the chest line, like this. Then as you can see, I've folded in my zipper allowance. Don't think I've cut it out, I just folded it in. Cut out the remaining pieces together, the yoke together with the remaining part of the bottom dress, like this. Alright guys, so I had said the front piece will have a jetted pocket here. So for that pocket, its width is going to be 2.5 inch. So fold your tape into 2 so that you get the midpoint of 2.5 and just mark it at this side and also at the other side using the center line here. So this is where our pocket will be, and it's going to be 6 inches long. So just put dotted marks for you to see. Then this dress will have 2 side pockets in front. So the length of these pockets, I'll start them from 18 inches. So it will be here on 18 inches. Okay, and the pocket will follow the shape of this square part of the dress. So when you come to the yoke pattern and I measure it like this, as you can see it's 8 inches just like we had measured, but we want it to be 7 inches. So 0.5 inch will be added here when joining the yoke to the bottom part of the dress. Then 0.5 inch will be added here at the top when joining the yoke to the shoulder, to the back shoulder. Then when you come to measure this, as you can see, it's exactly 7 inches, which is the distance that we want our yoke to be. Okay, so we can now go to the back piece. So when joining, the yoke will be joined here. So place this line, the 0.5 inch line, on the 0.5 inch line for the front piece. Okay, and just pin them like this. This is because we want our back piece to be accurate with the front piece. Okay, so I've put my front piece on top of the back piece like this. Then to make sure that everything is in alignment, when you place your measuring tape from here, the point should be at the same side. So as you can see, the bust point is here, the waist point is still at 16, the hip is still at 24, even at the bottom everything is at the right point, so that you can just trace out the front piece onto the back piece. So here I'm just going to put in my neck width, which will be 3.5 inches, just like the front piece. So the neck width will be the same, but the neck depth I'll use 1.5 for the back piece. Then here what you should also do is that at the shoulder line you're supposed to add 1 inch, of which I did not do and had to correct it later. So make marks where these points are: your hip line, your waistline, your bust line, your chest line. Make marks so that they can guide you in making horizontal lines for the back piece. Okay, so you go ahead and just cut out the front piece onto the back like this. You just trace it out. Okay, so as you can see here, I was supposed to add 1 inch allowance since the dart is going to extend to the shoulder. So after I removed this, I went ahead to put my horizontal lines like that, and then you go ahead and measure 4.5 inch dart allowance all around on the chest line, bust line, waistline, hip line. Measure your 4.5 inch and let it go up to the bottom, because we're going to cut this open when sewing. Okay, then we come back to the shoulder. So like I said, here we're going to put a line here, which will also be a dart, which will have to be cut open. So to avoid shortage, put 1 inch allowance for the sewing of this shoulder princess seam, which will be put here at the shoulder, connecting it to the other part of the seam. So I just went ahead and extended my line like this by 1 inch, then I curved in. Alright, so now go to the shoulder line, get the total length, and then get your midpoint like this. Then you can go ahead and join this to the shoulder. So you can just join it with a straight line. I decided to curve mine in like this. Okay, so this is our back and our front piece here. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on the sewing tutorial.